Hi, you've got Eli and Chris here from Landlord Gurus. And today we're going to give you a rundown on Avail property management software. We both have used it, and we wanted to give you an overview of the features that they offer, some highlights and some tricks and features, and a few drawbacks. So, there are lots of property management software products out there that are great for independent landlords. And we're just going to give you the top level on Avail, so you know whether or not this may be a good choice for you. And at this point, we also should tell you that Avail is a partner of ours, and that if you go to their site from ours and sign up, that we earn a small commission. And if that's the right product for you, we hope that you will. We'd also love it if you'd like and subscribe to our YouTube page here. Come and give us your email address at the site so we can follow up with you and bring you new content. So with that said, let's get into some of the features, and Chris will start us off.
All right. Yeah. Welcome, everyone. So yeah, like Eli said, Avail is a landlord software product that we have been using and are very accustomed to and like it for a lot of reasons. So we've talked about property management software before and all the different features that they might include that help you manage your day-to-day operations. And some of them do a lot of the features, some do all of the features, some focus on specific ones such as rent collection or screening. But Avail is a very robust kind of full-featured property management software. So they do advertising and listings, or you can create your listing of your rental. You can put your description, your photos, talk about the amenities. It gets published then and syndicated to, they claim, over a dozen of the top listing sites.
Yeah, and I think it's actually well over a dozen. I found that I get really good results. A lot of the leads come from the listing sites such as Zumper and PadMapper, Apartment List, and apartments.com. So that's where I get most of my leads.
Avail also does applications where you can basically send the potential applicant a link to request an online application. You put in their name, you put in their email address, and it sends it to them, and includes standard questions that you would find on just about any application, as well as the ability to add some custom questions. I know that, Eli, you've had some of these before in the past.
Yeah, I like to just cover the basics before I get into screening somebody, just so that there aren't any hiccups, right off the bat. And among those are, do you have any animals? Do you smoke or vape in any form? Do you make the income threshold, which I use 2.5 times the rent after other big payments? And I also ask when they want to move, because often I'll go down the road with somebody and they want to move 2 months from now. So it's handy to be able to put those in there.
Definitely. Yeah, and from there you can move right into tenant screening. So Avail uses TransUnion for their credit reports. You can also request, and with Avail you can choose which types of things you want to check for. So you can ask for background checks, eviction history, things like that. Tenants will authorize screening reports and verify their identity straight through the platform. And then, once they fill out their info within minutes, within seconds, that screening gets done and you receive it and you can take a look at it right off the bat.
Right. And you can either pay for that listing, or like we, and I think most other people do, that you have the applicant pay for that. And a nice thing about Avail is that they will not deliver certain screening reports. And I think this only applies to criminal background. There are some places where we're not allowed to take a look at that when we're considering tenants, like Seattle. So they just won't deliver that, which is handy. You don't have to go out of your way or put yourself in peril.
Exactly. Keeps you out of trouble.
Right.
Yeah. And then once you screen your tenants, and if you decide to move forward with them, you can move straight into lease agreements. It will automatically take their information that they've already filled out for their application and start pre-populating the lease agreements. And so Avail has state-specific lease agreements. It includes all the disclosures and attachments that are needed for your specific locality. You can also add custom clauses and things like that, which is something that you have to do in places like Seattle. And Eli, you can kind of discuss some of those.
Yeah, well, one thing that I've used it for is to add house rules. So that's just for my purposes: no water beds or satellite dishes, that type of thing. And then there are certain forms that we're required to provide here. Like there's a mold handout. That's a good one. You can get that content right into, just the copy right in there, and it's just part of the lease. So.
And it sends it straight to them, and they can do all their signing online through electronic signing. It's great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And then once you have them set up and they've moved in, you can do, when it's time to collect rent, you can set them up with online rent collection. And I think Avail is great at this. They include payment scheduling. They've got auto pay. The tenant can sign up for credit boost options where, their successful payments get reported to the credit agencies so that they can increase their credit scores. Yeah. And there's a variety of other features with their payments as well.
Yeah, and the ACH, electronic payments are fairly standard across the board with other electronic transactions. But if you upgrade, you can get what they call fast pay. And so that's a transaction speed of up to a day. It can be sometimes be 2 or 3, but it's kind of 1 to 3 days with that upgrade instead of 3 to 5.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And what Avail has introduced recently in some new features, including rental property accounting, where you can automatically track your payments that are done through the platform. So if you pay your bills or you collect your rent through Avail, those will automatically appear in your payment tracking on the dashboard. Your collections, everything else can go through there as well. You can also download those reports pretty easily to pass on to your tax preparer or accountant.
Yeah, it's an automatic rent roll essentially, and you can record expenses as well. So you can use it to create kind of a profit and loss report at the end of the year. It's pretty handy.
Avail also has maintenance management and tracking, where through their app, you can do in-app messaging, photos, and maintenance records. The tenant has an issue, they can submit a maintenance request directly through the platform. But you can then pass it on to your maintenance professionals, and everyone can kind of track the progress through the platform.
They can send photos as well.
Yep,
they can,
exactly.
The tenant can attach photos.
Exactly. And then they've also got rental price analysis. And I know that we've talked about this before. Eli's done a video where he's used Avail's rental price analysis to kind of get a handle on what his rent should be at a particular location, particular property. So you can see how your property compares to other rentals, get a rent estimate, see benchmarks, see a range, things like that, comparables. That's pretty handy. Eli's talked about it before, and you can check it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a handy tool. It pulls together lots of data in your area. You get some information on trends, and you can decide based on your own strategy where you want to fall in kind of the price range at that time.
Yeah. So we've got more comprehensive overview of Avail, and you can see all these features that we've just talked about, read more about them. I'll put the link to that overview in the video description here. You can see it on our site as well. So those are a bunch of the things that Avail can do. Some of the highlights that we consider to be features that really stand out. And we've kind of talked about it before, but the lease creation tool and the wizard that walks you through when creating a lease, and combined with the local assist function that they have. That's what they call their tool that will kind of give you the right handouts, the right attachments, the right disclosures that comply with your local rules and regulations. So that's a big highlight for us there.
Right. And I think we should point out that you do still need to check with your individual locality, in your city, because there are some specific requirements there. But the nice thing is that you can, like we were talking about before, you can copy that language and put it into the lease and incorporate it. So
another great feature that we think they have is the reference checking. Eli's used this very recently, where you get an application and it will automatically send emails to those people that the applicant has specified as references, and we'll ask them questions that you specify. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. They pre-populate some standard reference questions. And one of the nice things in addition to being automatic is that it incorporates a permission statement from the applicant. So you don't have to go back and forth with the past landlord questioning whether or not they should really be giving you this information.
Yeah.
So it's a big time saver. I really like the feature.
Yeah, for sure. They've also, as Eli said before, when talking about rent collection, they have their fast pay option. If you upgrade to a premium subscription, you get your rent deposited faster. They say as quick as 1 day in some cases, which is great. If that's something that you need to have your hands on that quickly, it's a great way to do it. Yep. And then they've got what they call credit boost, and that's an optional feature that tenants can opt into, where they can get their rent payments submitted to the credit bureaus. And that doesn't really affect you as a landlord that much, but it's a really nice feature for tenants. They can improve their credit score. And it actually, because of that, maybe incentivizes the tenant to actually pay on time, which does help you at the end of the day.
Yeah, because both positive and negative payment performance is recorded. So it's a great thing for tenants, and I definitely think it'll encourage people to pay on time.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so those are the highlights. So we do find that Avail has a couple of areas for improvement that we feel could be done, but you want to take that?
Yeah, I'll take that. I do find that the dashboard, the layouts is a little confusing, and it doesn't give me immediate access to the important features or information, right there the way it could. It's a quibble, the side nav is quite effective, so you can go there. But anyway, I think that could be improved. And then occasionally renewing the leases is a little bit quirky. So I found 2 things. One is that if it's a fixed term that's rolling into a month-to-month lease, then that's really quite easy. You can just click a toggle, on the site, and at the end of the fixed term, it goes right into month to month, and you can change the terms quite easily. And if you are going to go into another fixed term lease, however, changing terms, I've had a few issues there. So sometimes I'll just create a new lease for that new fixed term. So I've just figured out how to handle those things.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then we'll get into pricing. We talked about before, Avail has a couple different plans. They've got their free plan and they've got a premium plan. So the free plan, it's what they call the unlimited plan. There's no subscription cost. You can have as many units as you want, unlimited. They will syndicate your listings like we talked about. It includes credit and criminal screening options, state-specific leases, online rent payments. It does cost $2.50 per ACH payment. You can choose to pay it yourself, or you can have the tenant pay it. They do maintenance tracking, like we talked about, a tenant portal, and the rental property accounting.
Yeah, and with the Unlimited Plus, which is the the premium level, that costs $7 per unit per month. However, that includes the ACH payments, so that $250 that you or the tenant would pay is included there. Again, it's an unlimited number of units, and the faster ACH payment transactions that are sped up. You can customize your applications and then also customize the leases the way we were talking about before, where you can add clauses and house rules and that type of thing, which you can't do on the free plan. And you can take existing lease agreements and you can clone them. So if you create another unit with the same specifications, you don't have to enter all that information all over again. You can copy it. And then it creates a kind of a listing or marketing website for you as well to give your kind of branding, when you're marketing. So those are some of the things you get when you upgrade.
Okay. Yeah, great. And we would be remiss if we didn't talk about a couple alternatives to Avail. There are some other options out there, as you know, and it sort of depends on what you're looking for. So just highlight a couple. Rent Ready, we've talked about before. They offer premium maintenance add-on, so they'll handle your maintenance requests for you, and no more late night emergency phone calls and things like that. So that's an option. Turbo Tenant.
Yeah, I've been using Turbo Tenant.
You guys been using it as well. They've got an accounting add-on service, which they do through REI Hub. Some of you may have heard about them before. So it's accounting software that's built specifically for landlords. So, unlike QuickBooks or something like that, which is so general, REI Hub is specific for rental property management and investing. And then finally, I'll talk about Pay Rent real quick. If all you're looking for is just rent collection, online rent collection safely and securely without any of the other property management features and bells and whistles, Pay Rent could be just perfect for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then finally, we'll end this with a couple of takeaways. So for me, I think Avail is great for landlords with just one or a handful of properties. You can get all the features you need without a really large monthly subscription. If you've only got one unit, that's just $5 or $7 a month. It can even be completely free for certain landlords if you do the free unlimited plan. If you're willing to pass the rent collection costs off to your tenant and can wait a few days instead of fast pay to get your rent collection. So that's a great highlight. Also, the local assist feature with the lease builder wizard is a great tool. You can, get all the information from the application into the lease pre-populated. It keeps you, following your local rules and creates a lease that then can be signed online really easily and just in minutes by the tenant.
Yep. Yeah. And I appreciate a lot of those same things. Overall, I just appreciate that Avail is a real end-to-end solution where all the way from advertising through managing marketing and, the entire tenancy, they have tools for all of kind of those aspects of property management. I think the listings or advertising is a real strength because it does get out to so many of the prominent rental listing sites. So you get your listings in front of a lot of eyeballs. And, as we touched on before, I really like the automatic rental reference feature where the email goes straight out to the past landlords. And it's not, for some reason, that's a thing that I don't enjoy doing. So yeah, overall, it's been a boon to me and saves me a lot of time. So.
All right. Yeah. So there you have it. There's the Avail overview, some of our takeaways, things we like about it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We plan to do a couple more of these with some other products. So stay tuned for more of those as well.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you next time.